Hello, hello. What's up, ladies? It's Coach Steph. I am here doing my weekly training. So if you hop on, say hello. We're going to be talking about eating out and how you can eat out and still stay on track. So, eating out does not have to mean that you're off track, that you've done anything wrong, that you have to start over on Monday. And we're going to talk about some tips, tricks, hacks, and some reframes, some mental reframes on how you can eat out and still stay on track. So, as you're hopping on, say hello. I'm gonna pull up and see if there's any questions in the Facebook group too, real quick. I should have did this before, but as y'all are hopping on, say hello. And if you are, if you're in my group, you guys were doing a group call, a free group call. I wanted to mention this before I forget. So I think that coaching is one of the most powerful things that you can do with yourself. And I am going to be demonstrating a group call. I have 5 ladies actually, I have 4 ladies right now, and I need one more to volunteer to get coached on nutrition and mindset. And the power of group coaching is that even though you may not be the one getting coached at the time, that it can still be very beneficial for your brain to hear someone else's problems being fixed so that you can then apply that coaching to your own situation. So I'm really excited about that. So that means this is next Monday, okay, in my group only. So number one, if you're not in my group, check out the link in the description. If you click on the link, there's multiple options there for you. But one of them is to join my group. And so I'm going to be doing a free coaching session, and I might start doing this more often. So if that's something that y'all are interested in, it won't be something that is like every week or anything like that. But I really love the power of group coaching, and I want you guys to experience it as well, because eventually I do want to have a group program, and I want y'all to understand how fire it can be. So let me know, number one, if you're interested in doing it, and then come to my group by clicking on the link and joining my Facebook group. All right, so let me look at any questions that y'all might have posed in here. As you're hopping on, say hello. Hey, Demina, Bernita, Colette. What's up, ladies? Let's see who's on this side. Andrea, hi. Thanks, ladies. Thanks for joining. Again, we're going to be talking about how to eat out, how to enjoy yourself eating out, and still stay on track. So I'm looking for questions first. Okay, so let me back up. If you're new to me, hey, I'm Coach Steph, registered dietitian, personal trainer, and mindset transformation coach. So I have a 12-week program in which I help ladies right now one-on-one. In a 12-week program, I teach you not only how to nourish yourself, but also how to change your mindset. No more starting over on Monday, no more self-sabotage. How to get consistent by creating that consistency, how to stay motivated by creating that motivation. We go over emotional eating and self-worth and self-love and what that really means in the context of like your health journey. And I help women in my 12-week program to not only lose weight, but also feel better about themselves, be able to manage their mind and keep the results that they create. And so I just want to put it out there first and foremost before I get into this. If you are somebody who's been struggling with weight loss, you keep recreating the same thing, you keep losing the same 15 pounds over and over again, you can't seem to make it stick to where it feels like this is just my lifestyle. It always feels hard, and you need a great way to just simplify the process. You can apply with the link that is in the description. And one of the top choices is to apply to work with me one-on-one. Again, I am a registered dietitian. If you have diabetes or if you're pre-diabetic, I love coaching on nutrition for diabetes or pre-diabetes. I also work with some PCOS patients who have patients. I'm still in my clinical mode. Clients who have PCOS as well. So I would love to help you and walk you through step by step this journey if that's what you're interested in. Okay, so that's who I am. If you're on Facebook, there are so many live trainings in the events tab, and I think not enough people know this. There's so many tips, tricks, hacks on nutrition, fitness, and mindset. So if y'all looking for evidence-based information, the events tab in the group is where to find it. So today we're going to be talking about how you can eat out and still stay on track. So we had one question, or a couple questions actually. Kendra said, picking the foods with the least amount of salt and not having adult beverage with friends while dining out. Okay. And I really love Alexis's answer, and I'm actually going to get to that in a little bit. So I'm not going to answer that right now, but I will get to that answer. Victoria says, French fries, potatoes, bread, eating out is a cheat day for me. So I want to know from you ladies that are on, what is your biggest struggle when it comes to eating out? Is it the chips and salsa? Is it not being able to stop when you're full? Is it eating too large of portions? Is it not being mindful? Is it not planning ahead? Like, what do you feel like is the barrier, or just the mindset block of, okay, I'm eating out and I overdid it, or I'm eating out and now I have to start over on Monday? Like, do you have, like, what's the block? What's the struggle? Let me know. Let me check on this side. Hey, ladies. Uh-oh. Let me know if y'all are able to hear me. Someone said the video keeps interrupting every other word. Are you on an iPad? It did it to me. Had to switch to my phone. Okay, hopefully y'all can hear me now. Let me know, what are you struggling with in terms of eating out? So not planning ahead. If I go to familiar restaurants, I want my usual. Yep. So tell me, Tracy, are you going there hungry? Well, obviously you're hungry because you're going to go eat, but like starving, right? I think one of the top things that you can do really is decide ahead of time. We have a lot of power in that. We don't own our power sometimes when we don't just decide ahead of time, like, this is what I'm doing. So Tamika says, I struggle with making healthy choices while I'm out. Okay. Planning ahead, but then temptation hits. Yes. And I don't follow through, right? So you made a plan. Maybe y'all are planning. Maybe you are, deciding ahead of time. And then you're like, ooh, but I really want this. That looks really good. Let me get that instead. And then you don't follow through on your plan. And then that kind of like breaks a little bit of trust with yourself. So if we look at like, how can we increase our self-trust? Being able to do what you say you're going to do increases that self-trust with yourself. But I definitely get it. I think that's probably a big portion of it. Like, you know what to do, but then when you get there, the hunger just takes over, right? So Davina says, I'm with Tracy. Fried foods, not planning ahead and waiting too long to eat. Yeah. Being tempted by less healthy favorites, portion size. Yeah. And I think there's a concept of healthy food doesn't taste as good, right? And so we think that, okay, we're going to be depriving ourselves of something if we go ahead and choose the food that would better suit our goals at the time. So tell me this, have you ever gone out to eat and you planned to eat something quote unquote healthy, and you actually did make that choice. Like you got the item that had, fewer calories and more veggies versus like the high fat huge burger that's too big to eat. How did you feel afterwards? I want to know. How did you feel afterwards? You planned to get something pretty healthy. You did it. You ate it. How did you feel afterwards? I want to know. Let me know. So Demina says, I haven't been to my favorite Mexican restaurant because I just don't trust myself. Yes. So I was just talking to someone today on a sales call about this, and y'all think, right? Y'all came on this live because you think that the work is, man, how can I eat more veggies? How can I eat more lean protein? How can I, stop eating all these things that are not good for me or that are bad foods or whatever? The real work, right? The underlying work really is, how can you trust yourself? Right? If you start getting to a place where you can trust yourself by, number one, telling the truth, right? You got to tell the truth and not betray yourself or your feelings. You got to tell the truth to yourself so that you can trust yourself, so that you can get consistent. Because all of that self-trust that you're bringing up right now is impacting your consistency, right? You can't really get consistent if you don't know if you're still going to be working out next week, because you don't trust your word that you say you're going to work out 3 times a week, every week. And you're like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to show up for myself next week. That's self-trust, and that is impacting your consistency. I hope that is making sense. So Tracy says, yes, but I did not feel full. So Tracy, did you like what you had? Because my cousin says this. He says, if the food is not good, I don't get full, right? So did you eat something that you thought was healthy and you still didn't like it? And that's why it didn't really satisfy you? Or was it really just like not enough food? Because I think there's a difference between being full and being satisfied, right? Because sometimes we can actually eat something, like say you're eating something and it's like not that great. Like you're like, oh, this is healthy, I'm gonna eat it. You eat it. And the volume of food that you ate actually was sufficient. But because you didn't really like it, it didn't satisfy you, and you're still looking for more food, right? So having the feeling of satisfaction and making sure that like you're not just choosing healthy food just to choose it and you don't really enjoy it. It has to be something that you enjoy. Like this journey has to be something that you enjoy so that you can feel satisfied after and you're not still looking for more food, and so that it can be sustainable, right? So accomplished, yes. So when you eat something and hey, I'm eating this because it's healthy, and I know there's other temptation around, but I'm going to choose the thing that's going to serve my goals best in this moment, and you eat it, you feel good about yourself, right? You feel like, oh my God, I trusted myself, and I said I was going to do something and I did it. I kept my word to myself. Right. And as long as you're satisfied with the meal, you actually liked it, you feel like, okay, I did that. Right. And now the temptation is gone, because once you're not super hungry, it's not that big of a deal. Right. So Tracy says grilled fish and zucchini. I'm thinking it was the portion size. Also, I'm learning more on portion control. Yeah. And the thing about zucchini, too, is that non-starchy vegetables are super low in calories, and you can eat a lot more of those. And so, number one, being able to eat slower. Did y'all know that by simply slowing down your meals, you will be able to feel more satisfied instead of scarfing your food down, right? So being able to eat slower, drink tons of water, even before your food comes. Just drink, I typically drink 2 of those big, like clear cups before my food comes, because I'm just a water drinker anyway, and I'm always thirsty. Like I love water. But drinking plenty of water. And then that portion control that you mentioned, I think is definitely a big factor. But the non-starchy veggies, pig out on those. Like if you like the zucchini, go for it. It has super duper low calories, lots of nutrients, and it's not, going to be as impactful to your health journey. Let me see what we got over here. Okay. So let me get into my my notes. I haven't even started. Haven't even started yet. Okay. So first things first. The number one thing that you can do, and y'all probably already know this, but are you doing it, right? Is planning. You can decide ahead of time what you want to have. It's as simple as Googling the menu or Googling the nutrition facts. Or there's an app called Food Tripping. And I think it's available on iPhone and Android, but you can look up something like Food Tripping, or if you guys have any apps that you like to use, you can drop them in the comments too, like food apps, restaurant apps that help you find healthier options at different restaurants. But Food Tripping is one, and you can look at the menu. You can decide based on what you like, what's going to get you satisfied, but then also look at the calories. So sometimes it's as simple as being aware of how many calories it has in there. One of my favorite restaurants is 54th Street, and I love their food, but it's very rich, very calorie dense. And when I look at the calories on there, I'm like, okay, let me make like a different choice, right? So it doesn't always even have to be like the best of the best choice, right? This, beautiful kale salad with a whole bunch of extra vegetables and just, the best of the best. It doesn't have to be the best of the best, but maybe like instead of getting that 1,200 calorie burger and fries, maybe you get something that is either a different portion or maybe has a vegetable that maybe only has, 700 or 800 calories, right? You don't always have to go from 0 to 100. There is a middle ground. Okay. So number one, planning ahead and deciding ahead of time, looking at the menu. Okay. Number two, and somebody alluded to this earlier, is don't go starving, right? Like, so you're going to the restaurant, right? Because you're hungry. I get it. But this is why it's really important for you to eat regularly throughout the day and have a good breakfast. So if you know, hey, I'm going to go out for dinner Friday night, understand that it's important that like you eat breakfast and you have your lunch so that you haven't gone all day without eating and now you're about to pig out at dinner, right? So don't go starving. Number 3, drink lots and lots and lots and lots of water. And if you're going to have a caloric beverage, a beverage that has calories, maybe ask for a smaller cup, right? Get the kid size cup, or ask them, hey, can you not put my tea in the huge cup? Do y'all have like smaller cups, to go cup, whatever, right? Put it in a smaller cup, because we actually get a lot of extra calories for no reason through caloric beverages. Okay. So the thing about like having something that has a lot of sugar in it, especially up front, when they bring you your drinks first, is because the more sugar you have, the more sugar you want, right? If you think about eating a cookie or drinking lemonade, that's why I never get lemonade, even though I love lemonade. I love me some good strawberry lemonade. But if I have strawberry lemonade, I'm just going to want more strawberry lemonade. And I'm going to drink that probably 2 or 3 glasses. And so if you do have the caloric beverage, just ask for it in a smaller cup. So even if you did get a refill, it's still not probably going to be as much as if you were to get the larger portion in the first place. All right. So we talked about planning ahead of time. Don't go starving. Have your breakfast, have your lunch. If you're going to a restaurant for dinner, drink lots and lots of water and forego the caloric beverages. Now, number 4, you can get the kids' portion or ask if they have like a lunch portion, right? Even if you're getting the quote unquote healthy food. So let's say you're going to dinner and the dinner portions are a little bit larger. You can still ask them, hey, is there a way that I can get a smaller portion? Or share, right? Like share half of the meal with a friend, or ask if you can get a to-go cup or a to-go plate immediately. So when you bring out my food, can you please bring out a to-go container so that as soon as you get your food, you can cut everything in half if they've given you large portions and put it in a to-go cup or to-go plate. That way it's out of the way. There's something about our brain that when we see that our plate is done, and now that you've cut your food in half, you have a lot less calories on your plate. If you're eating slowly, drinking plenty of water, and you've been given large portions, you could just eat half of that, and your brain now sees a plate that's empty, and you're like, okay, I'm satisfied. I'm good. Right? So my issue is the restaurant's bread. Yeah. Let me tell you about that extra bread, because I'm not typically a bread eater, but I really love, what is it, Texas Roadhouse, those rolls with the butter, and then Red Lobster's biscuits, and there's one other place that I think I like, but other than that, I don't really get that. So here's the thing: if you are a bread person, and if you are a chip person, okay, either ask that they don't bring the bread, right? So you can make this decision. Either they don't bring the bread, or again, you take the bread and divide it up, like this is my portion, and then the rest of y'all can share the bread or whatever. But you have to be in control and decide, what do I want more? And asking your brain questions is really helpful. What do I want more in this moment? Like, I'm going to have my slice of bread, and then I'm not going to ask the waiter to come back and like, bring me more bread and bring me more bread and bring me more bread. Right? Like, you get to decide. You can ask the waiter, please don't bring me bread, because the temptation is going to pass, y'all. Right? The temptation is going to pass. Irene says Red Lobster biscuits give me every time. That's real talk. And so if you know you're going to Red Lobster and hey, you know what? This is not my treat meal. So I am going to go and enjoy myself, and I don't want to overdo it. Ask that they not bring the bread. Now, if you're with other people and they get the bread, then maybe you have one biscuit. Eat that biscuit slowly, eat it mindfully, practice gratitude while you're eating that biscuit. And while you're doing that, enjoy your company, right? Be drinking your water. And as you go from moment to moment, you can let that temptation pass and that moment pass, because it absolutely will pass, y'all. So again, plan ahead. Don't go starving. Drink lots of water. Get a smaller portion. Put half of your portion away immediately, or share it with a table mate. Remember your goals. That's always a good one. You are the boss of this brain, and your thoughts are what is going to help you to decide what's the best for you. Because it sucks, man, to be doing well, right? And then you have a series of events, or have to go out to eat, and you feel like you are now off track because you've made decisions in the moment of temptation that didn't serve your goals. So you being able to remember your goals is super important. Now, number 6 is when you go out to run errands or, you're out on the weekend, you're doing your grocery shopping or you're just regular shopping on the weekends, keep water and a healthy snack either in your purse or in your car so that while you're out and you feel that hunger monster come on, you can say, okay, let me go get my water. Let me go get this healthy snack, this non-perishable snack, whatever it is you want to keep in your car or take in your purse. Let me eat that so that I can think straight. It's really hard sometimes to make great decisions with your nutrition if you're out and you're not at home, you're hungry, you're super hungry, and you're not going home for a while, and it's like, okay, well, let me just stop and get me something real quick. It's hard to make that decision. It's kind of like the Snickers commercial where it says, if you're hungry, you try to turn into a whole nother person. So make sure that you are prepared, right? That's part of the planning process too. It's just like keeping a 6-pack of water or whatever in your car so that you know, hey, I have my water. Let me take my little protein bars in the back of my trunk. And if I get stranded out, I can eat this, I can drink this to try to help me to make a better decision. Okay. What do you do if your dinner companions pig out on these temptations? Like keep requesting more bread and more biscuits. Here's the thing. If you were to go to dinner and you pigged out on all the bread and all the biscuits, that one time is not going to ruin all of your progress. But if you find that you're going out with these same people who aren't on the same journey as you in your weight loss journey, then those friends might be your shopping friends. Maybe they're your let's go to the movie friends. But in certain times, you really have to protect your interests, you have to protect your goals. And if you know that you have 4 friends who health is maybe they're not on the same journey as you are, don't be that 5th person all the time in a dinner type of situation or in a meal type situation, because we are the sum of the closest 5 people to us, right? So if you want to be a realtor, you need to go hang out where the realtors hang out and do what the realtors do, right? Like that's where you want to be. So who around you is someone that is supporting your goals? So if you don't have friends, you don't have family who are in any way health conscious or that can help tempt you less by not doing all of that, then maybe consider, maybe I need a new, not a whole new set of community, but just to link up with some people who I can practice going out with and not picking out. Like I can practice going out with and just having a sensible dinner because they're also on the same mind frame and wavelength as me. Right? It's not that you can't be friends with those people, but it's just that maybe those aren't the friends to go out to eat with until you can root your identity in this is not what I do anymore, right? Like I live a healthy lifestyle because this is who I am. And when that's who you are, you don't have to worry about other people and what they're doing, right? You don't have to worry about like they're doing this X, Y, and Z because it's like, you know who you are and you're okay with that. And then they can do their thing, right? And so you can implement some of these tips that I'm talking about now, right? So all of this has more to do with your relationship with you and who you are, right? Versus what other people are doing. Because really, in reality, like just because other people are doing something doesn't mean that you have to do it too. But it is more challenging when you're not in a circle of people who have the same mindset and goals as you. And so it's really helpful to have that community. Social worker issues. Yeah, I feel like nurses have the same thing too. I'm a registered dietitian. I used to work in clinical setting, and the people that you are around influence you. So do you have people around you who are on the same journey. That's so important. So be really intentional about who are you hanging out with, right? Who are you hanging out with? Who are your friends? So I'm assuming nuts and clean protein bars when it comes to the snacks. Yeah, so if you're just going to be out like for a day, like you could take, you know, you could take an apple or a banana or a handful of nuts or something like that. If you're going to leave it in your car, yeah, protein bars are really good. Um, Trying to think of something else that's really, really quick. Um, you can get some good like beef jerky if you're into that. It has lots and lots of protein. And just, look at the label to make sure that it didn't have a whole bunch of sodium and added sugar in it. But beef jerky is another good one. I actually have a snack list that has a whole bunch of snacks. They have like Skinny Pop popcorn. That's what I can think of off the top of my head. But it takes a lot of discipline while eating out. Right. So, Andrea, if you feel like, okay, this takes a lot of discipline, right? So you have to practice developing that discipline every day, even in small situations with yourself, right? Practice keeping your mind on your goals and how much time are you focusing on your goals and on solutions versus how much time are you spending wanting this thing that you can't have or focus on the barriers, right? If you find yourself, this is why like self-awareness is so important. If most of your thoughts are, ooh, I really want this, or this takes a lot of discipline, this is really hard, I'm on a diet, I can't do this, right? Like if you're focused on that, you're going to create more of an energy of like wanting what you can't have. But if you're focused on, man, I'm going to feel so good when I reach my goal, or I really want to get off this medication. So this right here is not my priority, right? It gives you a sense of control and a sense of power. So really start thinking about taking your power back. All right. So planning, don't go starving, drinking lots of water, getting smaller portions, kid portions, or sharing some of your portions or putting them away immediately, taking a healthy snack and water with you. Then here I put portions, portions, portions. I think we kind of talked about that already. So this is another one. So if you know that you want to get dessert, like there are some restaurants I don't go to very often, but when I go, like I'm a cheesecake lover, so I'll get the cheesecake, right? So what's a compromise, right? Because I want y'all to build a lifestyle and not just like tell yourself what you can't have. So if I know I'm going to get the cheesecake, then maybe I don't have the carb portion, right? Maybe I don't get the fries. I get my slice of cheesecake instead, and maybe I share the cheesecake and not just eat it all by myself, right? My slice of cheesecake. So that's something that you can do as well. So in the same vein of like not having a whole bunch of sugar with just drinking water or a non-caloric beverage, foregoing maybe the carb if you know you're going to have dessert. And definitely, y'all, an appetizer plus a meal plus a caloric beverage plus a dessert is a lot of calories, y'all. It's a lot, especially if you're at like a decent restaurant. It's a lot of calories. So decide what you can do without, because honestly, by the time you get to that dessert, you are full. You are satisfied, you are full, and you could probably just walk away from the plate, right? Another one is make a rule, right? We make fake rules with ourselves all the time that are not helpful. So what you could do is say, hey, if this isn't my treat meal, right? And we'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to make sure that if I go out, I'm going to have a veggie. Like I have to get a veggie. That alone, and I have to not only get a veggie, but eat the veggie, right? I have to eat a veggie when I go out. Okay. So making it a mandatory thing. Let me get some veggies and make sure I eat those veggies, and eat the veggies first. This is the way that I teach my clients to approach their plate is when you sit down, for them, they should definitely always have some sort of veggie, and you start with the veggie on your plate first. You eat that first, and then you move around to the rest of your plate. And when I say veggie, I mean non-starchy vegetables. I'm not talking about potatoes or corn or something like that. I'm talking about like your colorful vegetables, your greens, your blues, your reds, purples, etc. Okay, so make a rule. When I go out to eat, no matter what, I have to get a veggie and I have to eat that first. That's a golden tip right there, y'all. So number 10, say no to supersizing. They be trying to get y'all. Okay. Do not say, yes, I want to supersize, or yes, I want the extra this or the large that. No. Okay. Just say no. Number 11, don't eat what you don't want on the combo. So sometimes we eat just out of like habit. So like maybe you get a combo of something and you don't even like fries like that, but it came with the combo, so you eat it. Right? Like, what is it that you really want? Do you just want this burger? Like you just wanted the burger, but you're so used to getting the combo, you get the drink and the fries anyway, and you eat that too. Right? So just eat what you really, really want. So if you go to one of your favorite restaurants and your plate comes with, a whole bunch of extra stuff, but this one thing is what you really came for, ask the waiter, hey, I just want this. Can I get this a la carte? Right? So that you don't have to have all the other stuff on your plate. Number 12, getting your sauce on the side. There's so much like more calories when you put the sauce on your plate and smother your food in sauce, right? So get the sauce on the side. Number 13, someone asked about getting adult beverages, and I really like Alexis's answer. And so I'm including it here. She said, get a 0-calorie drink with a shot of vodka or a shot of your alcohol and a 0-calorie drink. I think that is golden. So if you're out, you want cocktails, don't get the whole cocktail with the pretty little thing in there, all of that. It has a lot of extra sugar, a lot of extra calories. Get something that's 0-calorie, like sparkling, whatever, some kind of soda, whatever, and then your shot of alcohol. That's the best way to drink if you're going to drink. And then my last tip of the day is plan it in as your treat meal. So at the end of the day, you get to decide what it is that you put on your plate and put in your mouth. So what I have my clients do is gradually over a few weeks, we work on breakfast, then we work on lunch, then we work on dinner, then we put it all together. And once we put it all together, we plan out a treat meal. So that means I'm not saying you can never have McDonald's or you can never have, this burger with fries. It's not about never having those things, right? It's about you deciding when you have them and you being in control versus someone randomly asking you to come to happy hour and you said yes, or eating out of emotion instead of you being in control. You get to decide. So when you're planning, and see, this goes back to my number 1 tip of planning. You should be planning your meals for the week. And when you do that, planning in a treat. Planning in a treat that doesn't have any rules so that you don't feel like you have to eat perfectly all the time, so that you don't binge because you've been restricting yourself for weeks and weeks, right? And so when you plan it in and say, yes, I'm going to go to this restaurant and I'm going to have this cheesecake, you get your fill, right? Most of your meals should be lean protein, lots of veggies, lots of water, right? Whole fruits, whole veggies. But you being able to plan that treat meal in is super duper important. Let me check the comments real quick. This is Roadhouse. Okay. So I want you to tell me in the comments, what are 2 things that we talked about that you know that you can do when eating out? And let me go and review them. So we talked about planning and looking up, for example, on an app like Food Tripping and deciding ahead of time what you're going to have. Don't go starving to the restaurant and just eat up everything. Drinking water, right? Drinking water. And then if you're not going to drink water, or maybe you have water and you have a kid's cup of juice, or you have a smaller cup of your caloric beverage so that you don't drink a whole lot of that. Getting the kids' portion or a lunch portion of a meal, or slicing your large portions in half and either sharing it or putting it immediately in a to-go container. Number 5, remembering your goals and going over and over and over again what you want and see your result and decide that that's what you want more than gorging out on this food. When you go out and you run your errands, always have a healthy snack and some water, always. If you're wanting dessert, have your plate, but don't eat or ask for them not to put your carb portion on, and have your dessert instead. I wouldn't do that a ton. I wouldn't do that a ton, y'all, but it's just an option. Always have a veggie. So make a rule with yourself. I'm going to always have a veggie every time I eat out. It doesn't matter where. I'm going to always have a veggie, and I'm going to eat that first. Okay. Say no to supersizing. The regular portions are big enough. Don't eat what you don't want with the combo. Only eat the things that you really, really want. Eat them slowly and make sure that it's satisfying to you. Okay. Put the sauce on the side. If you're going to drink alcohol, have some sort of 0-calorie beverage with your alcohol. And then plan it. You can plan in to have your treat meal. So what I want you to do, write in what are the 2 things that you make sure that you do when you eat out. Say this part, but this is the most important. Managing your mindset, ladies, on just because I eat out doesn't mean that I have to pig out. It doesn't mean that. Just because I eat something that is not quote unquote healthy or is a large portion doesn't mean I've ruined my progress. It doesn't mean I ruined my week. It doesn't mean anything about me. It doesn't mean I failed again. It doesn't mean that I have to start over on Monday. Because most of the time with the ladies that I coach, the problem is not that you ate out. The problem is that you thought it was a problem that you ate out. Right? If it's not a problem that you ate out, you just get back on your meal prep the next meal. Right? But if you think it's a problem that you ate out, now your mind is spinning out. I'm a failure. Let me start over on Monday. Let me over exercise to make up for that. Right? Let me go and weigh myself the next day to see if I ruined everything, but not really understanding that if I get on the scale today, it's not reflective of what I ate yesterday, y'all. It's like what I ate like the past 7 to 14 days, really. Okay. So it doesn't catch up with you that quickly. So y'all stop doing that. Y'all stop getting on the scale to see if you overate yesterday, because it doesn't work like that. All right. So April says eat veggies first. Kiki says smaller portions. Irene said eat slowly. Ooh, y'all are doing all diverse answers. I love it. Denise said always salad and water first. Plan ahead by looking at the menu. I get full fast, but my eyes are bigger than my stomach. That happens so much. And then you feel guilty because you ordered all this food and you're too full to eat it, or you try to stuff yourself and eat it anyway. Eat veggies first. Avoid beverages and drink water instead. Pack up half the meal right away. Be mindful while eating. Focus on your goals. Pack half and focus on the end goal. Yes. Order a veggie and eat it first. Ask to the to-go container and bring in your food. Y'all did so good. I love all of those. Andrea said drink water. So if you personally have any tips that you like to execute whenever you're going out to eat, y'all can put those in the comments as well. So Yvette says, ask for a takeout container up front. Yeah, and that's a game changer too, because I don't know why our brain, when we see our plate is cleared, our brain says, okay, we're done. It's a game changer, even though your food is still right here, right? So enjoy your company, right? Rebecca says mindset is everything. It's absolutely everything. And everything that you have created so far, ladies, came right here. It started with your mind. So if you take full ownership of that, whatever situation, good or bad, you like it, if you don't like it, take ownership of what you created so that you can then take ownership of what your future self will be, right? Double veggies, very little carbs. Yes. So I hope this was helpful, ladies. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're not already in my Facebook group, you can click on the link in the description. There's a few options. You can come to my Facebook group. I'm going to be having a free group coaching session on mindset and nutrition. And I love group coaching because even though you're not getting coached, you can still get coached because you can apply what I'm saying to someone else to you. And it also, there's a community feel. You understand that like you're not going through this alone, and the same thoughts and self-sabotage that you're doing, like this is so common, like we're all doing this. So I need one more lady to volunteer for to get coached. I have 4 ladies I'm going to be coaching live in my Facebook group. So click the link, join the Facebook group if you are not already in there. So that's going to be next Monday at 6 p.m. So Black Women Workout Facebook group, I'm going to be going live on Sunday in y'all's group instead of Monday. And then also, I'll just invite you, if you want a one-on-one coach, a registered dietitian, personal trainer, and mindset transformation coach who is going to help you dig into the real reasons why you've been struggling that have a lot to do with self-love, self-trust, your own body image, your identity, and you need help to create the body that you want, to understand your nutrition, to feel better in your skin. You can also click that same link in the description and book a call to apply to work with me. And we can get on a call and talk about what it might be like for us to work together in my 12-week program so that we can tackle the emotional eating, so that we can tackle the consistency, the lack of motivation, the negative self-talk, and you tearing yourself down. So if you're interested in getting a dietitian coach, just click the link and apply. So let me check the chat one more time. Tips on how to navigate a conference with snacks all day long. So here's what I have to say about that. Number one, are you eating or are you just snacking the whole time, right? So if you eat a good breakfast, and breakfast is so important. Y'all know intermittent fasting is a thing, but my philosophy is it's really important to eat breakfast. Lots of water, lots of protein, lots of fiber at breakfast, right? And some healthy fat at breakfast. Like really pile it on at breakfast. When you eat a top-heavy breakfast, meaning like you're eating more at breakfast than you are at like dinner, because we tend to eat light at breakfast because we're running out the door, and then we might eat a little lunch, or we might skip lunch, and then we eat a heavy dinner. But instead, I want to encourage you to like eat a heavier breakfast so that you're not super hungry throughout the day or even tempted to have all these snacks, because just because they have snacks around doesn't mean that you have to eat them. It doesn't mean that you can't have them either. But if you have a top heavy breakfast, Make sure you take water with you. So if you're at the conference, you need a water in your hand, right? And then decide and plan when you'll have a snack. So maybe you do have a snack, right? Maybe you know that after lunch, between like lunch and when it's time to go, you get hungry. So maybe say, okay, I'm not going to have this like early morning snack because I know I had a top heavy breakfast, and I'm just going to eat a snack like in between lunch and when it's time to go. So have the snack, but have it when you naturally get hungry for it. And again, go back to those goals in your mind, because just because people have it out doesn't mean that you have to partake in it. Okay. So managing your hunger, y'all, is really, really important in terms of being in a calorie deficit or not giving into temptation. And I think I gave these tips last week about managing your hunger during a calorie deficit, but drinking hot beverages. So if you like black coffee, if you like hot green tea, if you like soups, like that kind of stuff helps you to feel a little bit more satisfied so that you don't feel like, oh, there's a snack, I have to have it. Because when you feel satisfied, somebody can have a snack and it's not a big deal, right? So let me know if that was helpful. I always leave a little something on my plate. Don't have to eat it just because it's there. You know what, Yvette? I do the same thing. I don't know where I got that from. And if I have French fries, which I'm not like a huge French fry fan, I think I had some today, and I didn't eat all of them because I don't know. I'm not really big on French fries, but I bite it and I don't eat the last part of it. What you're saying, I think, is like you leave a little bit, but I leave a piece of every fry. I know that's kind of weird. How do I do that? Bernadine, let me know what you're talking about. How do you do what? Let me know. Did that answer your question, April? But so, like I said, next week, you guys, if y'all want to come to my group session, you're more than welcome. Yes, helpful. Thank you. Okay, cool. Awesome, ladies. So I look forward to chatting with you guys next week. Click the link. I have multiple different things that you can kind of choose from one-on-one coaching to some challenges. So click the link and see how we can connect further. I would love to help you. And I'm going to say good night for tonight. So y'all have a great night, and I will talk to you soon.